Everybody, good to see you. This is a special broadcast, a special live broadcast, not one of our usual ones. This is actually, I just realized that I'm slightly out of the screen. Let me get that back into the screen. This is a broadcast which is focused particularly on on our Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. And the Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix, which of course is the prize in our special competition that is running from now right the way up until December. I've noticed that my picture is looking like you can't see the bar, so drop me a message, just let me know whether you can see it, because it's all gone a bit strange on my screen. Kieran, hi, how are you doing? Actually, Kieran, you can tell me, can you see everything? Can you see the bar here and everything that's going on? Because the picture that I've got looks like you can't see that. Anyway, everyone, this is actually not one of our usual broadcasts. It's not got all the stuff that we normally do. I'm going to focus mostly on our Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix because we have this amazing competition that is running. It's actually the best prize that we've given away in the 4 years that Dream Whiskies has been running. And in this little broadcast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the whiskey. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. We're going to explain, if you haven't already entered, exactly how you can enter and get yourself in the draw for this as well. And because I'm online, I might as well do a few cocktails while I'm at it. So I've got a couple of drinks for you this evening, and we'll just have a little bit of fun. Shorter broadcast than we would normally do, but with a big focus on this. So let me just move our Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix to the back here for a second. Let's see who is with us. Who have we got here? Kieran, of course we know. Bob, great to see you. Jeff as well. Bruce, here and not here. Working but have a Guinness Imperial Stout. You always got something special on the go there. Carl, hi, how you doing? Excuse me. Bruce is saying it looks good. Kieran's saying you can see everything. Oh, great. I'm pleased you can all see everything because I can't. I can only see from about my chin to there for some reason, so I'm not sure what's happening my end, but as long as you can see. Bruce is saying, share this, everyone. Absolutely. Look, really important for us. I know that for those of you that have entered the competition, the fewer people that enter, as far as you're concerned, the better, because you've got a better chance of winning our Snow Phoenix here. But from our point of view, the reason why we do this is to make Dream Whiskies work financially so we can keep giving you more of this sort of stuff. Now we're just at a point where we're turning a really positive corner actually, and that's why we're able to give away this amazing prize, which is worth about £700 here in the UK. If you wanted to try and pick one up in the United States, you're pretty close to $1,000 for this whiskey, and you're going to find out quite a bit more about it as we go on. But before we get going, you know how it works. Let's have a little drink with each other. Bruce has already told us what he's got on the go, but what about the rest of you? What are you drinking this evening? I'm going to have a little drop of, you've seen me actually drink this once before actually, but this is the Glenglassaugh Revival, bottled at cask strength, so it's bottled about 46%, which gives it a nice little burn, and really delicious little whiskey, so I'm going to have a bit of that on the go while we're having a chat. So, who else is with us as well? Barry, great to see you. The land of Notit Oilers, Lamedos. I don't know where that is, Barry, but great to see you as ever. Michelle, hi everyone, blue skies in Oakland. A little whiskey, please, to chase the chill today. Yeah, which whiskey you got, Michelle? David Rose, how you doing? Here again, Lefroy 10, cask strength, loving that whiskey. They are pricey whiskies to get, by the way. The Lefroy 10-year-old cask strength. And Dave's got a Guinness on the go tonight as well. Barry with the Tangerine IPA, loads of different stuff. Look, cheers everyone, good to see you. Good that you've joined us. Like I say, our regular broadcast, in other words, the one that is now the first Wednesday of every month, will be next week, of course, and we'll be doing our regular stuff. But like I say, special one tonight because we are giving this baby away to someone. I was going to say one of you, but it depends, there's other people that are not watching this that are in the draw as well. But cheers everyone. What are you saying there? Teetotal tonight. Might get a cup of tea later, says Bob, and looks like Paul Slade's already drinking a cup of tea. But whiskey from tomorrow. Oh yeah, Paul, you've been on a kind of abstinence thing, haven't you? I remember that. Okay, look. First things first, this is what we're going to do. I am going to make a couple of cocktails for you because I know that every time I come on, people like me making a few drinks. I'm not going to be doing 3, I'm actually going to be doing 2. And one of them really is a shot. Now, people often say to me, can you knock up a shot for us? So I'm going to do a shooter, if you like, and then I'm going to do one more traditional style cocktail. So we've got those coming up for you. No quiz, nothing like that tonight, because this is all about our Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. I'm going to give you a sneak look at this. Again, by the way, if for whatever reason you can't see, because I'm not confident in the picture that you can see at the moment, just tell me to move it. But I think we're full screen here. So here we go. Here is this baby. In fact, let me get this out of the box for you. Let's pick that up. There we go. That is it. That is a bottle of the 2010, the only year this was released, Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. At the time, you could have picked this up for about £50 or £60 a bottle, but because it is so exclusive, never to be repeated, and for the reasons that you're going to find out shortly, the prices of this have gone through the roof and continue to climb as we talk. If you wanted to go online right now and buy yourself one of these, and you can buy them right now, you'd have to pay £700 or close to $1,000. Who else is with it? Kieran, what you got? You got a Kilkerran 8-year-old cast strength sherry. Sounds like a really delicious drop. Jane, hi, how you doing? Good to see you as well. So look, there we go. That is it. I'm going to tell you a bit more about it as we go on. But before we get started, I think I just need to explain how you can own this. So we have done this special competition, nothing to do with the member stuff. The member stuff keeps going week after week after week. But this special competition is open to everyone. In other words, you can enter it. It is 50 pence an entry. 50 pence, not even a pound. Like £1 will get you 2 entries, but 50 pence an entry to win this $1,000 whiskey. And if you want to know how to get in, it's very simple. You have to go onto the entry page and the link is in the description. You just click on that, go to the competition page. It will ask you to answer a question, which if you know about whiskey is easy. If you don't know about whiskey, it's not easy. But if you know about whiskey and you've got that kind of skill, you answer that question and then get your entries in. And you can have multiple entries. It's entirely up to you how many entries you want to put in. But there we go. Before we get further into that, let me just bring you up to date with some of the winners of our members competitions, because normally I tell you that every week, but I haven't been on every week for the last few weeks. So last 3 weeks winner of the whiskey competitions, we had Bruce Orand, who Bruce is with us, of course. So Bruce, actually, after all the years that he's been doing stuff with us, he's actually come up as our winner. So congratulations, Bruce. Then we had Gabriel Wilding, who was last week, and this week's one, which finished last night, was Steve Simpson. Steve Simpson was our winner. In terms of the spot prize winners, Paul Musson won. I know Kaz has just won, and I think Graham, sorry Graham, I didn't write it down. I can't remember your surname, but Graham won the week before. So those are our winners, but it's all about this one here. Who else is speaking to me? Bruce is saying should have bought a dozen of those back then. No, absolutely right. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday and I was saying to him, we got this out, and he said actually 10 years ago he bought one of these for his dad. Excuse me. And his dad, who has a habit of not holding on to anything, even the most valuable whiskies, he would just crack them open and drink them. For one reason or another, his dad just put it away and it's still sitting unopened in his cabinet. So he's got one of these, that's for sure. Laura, how are you? Good to see you, Avril. On your way to work. Book the day off next week. Enjoy. Excellent. Thank you for that. Avril, that's brilliant. Paul, congrats to Bruce. Yeah, Bruce, congrats to all the winners as well. Loads of congratulations going on. Bruce is saying mine arrives tomorrow. Yeah, I've got a message to say that as well. So yours should be with you tomorrow. Absolutely. In here, in this box with this amazing Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix, which, by the way, no age statement on this, and you'll find out why there's no age statement. Non-chill filtered and bottled, actually at a fabulous 47.6 as well. In here as well, you have this little card which tells you the story from the words of the Glenfiddich malt master, Brian Kinsman. And look, because only one of you are going to win this, I'm going to read this story to you through our broadcast, just so you've got an idea. It's not a long story. There we go. That's it. Just so you've got an idea of how this amazing whiskey came to be. and how very fortunate one of you guys is going to be. I got to be honest with you, really tempted to keep this myself, but obviously I'm not because it's going out as a competition prize. But when I had it in my hands, I thought, do I really want to let this go? The answer was no. Okay, what else we got there? Kat, hi all, congrats to all winners. Kevin, hi Paul, haven't been able to attend the last few weeks. Kevin, I haven't been doing it the last 2 weeks. So our broadcasts have now moved to the first Wednesday of every month, Kevin, and anybody else who doesn't know this already. So our regular broadcast, but tonight's broadcast is specifically because I wanted to tell you more about this whiskey, which you can win whether you are a member or not. This is an extra competition that you can enter. The link is in the description. I wanted to tell you more about this whiskey tonight. So look, let me start, before I make a drink, I'm just going to start by reading out some of the things about this fabulous whiskey. So here we go. These are the words of Brian Kinsman, the Glenfiddich Malt Master. Let me just put that there so you can see it. All right, here we go. Let me read. So Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix commemorates a moment of drama in the long history of the Glenfiddich distillery. And it all began in December 2009 when it started to snow. And it kept snowing and snowing for months, a number of months. And after weeks of record low temperatures and alternate freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing, there was 4 feet of really densely packed snow on the distillery roofs. So you know what it's like when snow starts to thaw and it starts to drop and then it refreezes. In a way, it's not really snow anymore. It sort of becomes ice, doesn't it? And that packed up over the months, 4 feet of it. Now, on the evening of Thursday, the 7th of January, in the most remote part of the snow-covered distillery, some of their warehouse roofs just collapsed under the pressure. They were ripped open by the sheer weight of snow and ice, leaving those maturing oak casks of Glenfiddich exposed to the wintry sky. Now it was as if, they say, some of the distillery angels had finished their share and had come back for some more. So those of you who know that phrase, the angels share, that bit that evaporates from casks as they're aging, what they're saying was, well, maybe they actually run out of that, they'd actually finished, and they decided to come back for a little bit more. So in all, 4 roofs collapsed, and several more were badly damaged. The distillery engineers calculated that there were 400 kilograms of snow, excuse me, on every square meter of warehouse roof. 400 kilograms on every square meter. So what's a square meter about? That. 400 kilograms pressing on every square meter, and that is the equivalent of a herd of elephants, a herd of elephants standing on top of the distillery roof. So no wonder they buckled. So the distillery team immediately swung into action. They were working around the clock, clearing the snow from the distillery, the neighbouring warehouse, to make everything as safe as they could. And in that time, they were enduring temperatures as low as minus 19 degrees. Minus 19 degrees C. So because of that, they could only work for a short period of time before they had to go in and get warm again. But minus 19 degrees. And that also, of course, was what those casks in those warehouses were exposed to, those ultra low temperatures. And before the rebuilding of the warehouses could start, what they did was they took all of those casks, all that maturing Glenfiddich that had been exposed to those low temperatures, and moved them to a secure place in another part of the distillery. Okay, so that's halfway through our story. I'm going to tell you the other half in a second, but we can start to get an idea of how this whiskey came to be and what happened and what makes it so very different, quite frankly, makes it so very different to pretty much every other whiskey on the planet, I would say. So the Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix, remember, you can't win this. This is a long play competition, so it's going to run into December. Someone will win this before Christmas. And if you want to win it and you want to get into it, the link is in the description. Click on that. It will take you to our game page. Really easy to enter. Only 50 pence. 50 English pennies or British pennies. That is all it will take for you to enter this competition to win this $1,000, £700, fabulous single malt whiskey. Okay, let's make a drink and then I will come back to that because I know that a lot of you don't like me going on too long without making you a drink. So I've got a nice little cocktail for you this evening. And this is a drink called a rhubarb and custard. And I was inspired to make this because of this liqueur. I've got this fabulous raspberry rhubarb liqueur, which was sent to me by Giffard, you know, the people who do all of my liqueurs back here, and we've done all sorts of stuff with them before. They sent me this one, and it smells amazing, tastes gorgeous, had to make a drink with it. And actually Cheryl's idea, Cheryl came up with this idea, why don't we make a rhubarb and custard? So that's what I'm going to do. But before we start, what I'm going to do first is take this fabulous rhubarb liqueur, there we go, and I'm just going to drop a little bit into this plate because I'm going to use it to wet the rim of the glass, just a little bit in there. What else are you saying to me, by the way, here? Where we go, Kevin, Joanne saying, I got a Solera Reserve for the Christmas New Year. That sounds like you're set up nicely for that, Joanne, very good. Who knows, you might end up with I don't know, Snow Phoenix to go with it. Would this be the Snow Angels share? Liking that, liking that. Gazer Session IPA now for Barry. Barry's absolutely hammering through that. Paul, there's no way of telling in response to Bruce. Loving the puns. All right, so what I've got in there is a little bit of that rhubarb liqueur. Now, you know that when I put a sugar rim on the glass, ordinarily what I do is I take a citrus fruit to wet the edge of the glass, but I'm going to use this liqueur to do it. And then here, what I've done is I've ground up some granulated sugar with a bit of cinnamon powder. I've just ground it up so I've got a cinnamon sugar, and that's what I want on the rim of this. So here we go. I'm just going to put that in there like so. Get that wet, and I'm going to put that straight into the sugar. Shake that out, and that gives me a really nice, can you see that? Really nice sort of sugar and cinnamon rim, or should I say cinnamon sugar rim on the glass. So let me pop that there. That is now ready to go, and we are going to put our cocktail together. So as ever, start with our shaker, and we're going to start with the whiskey, and the whiskey that I'm using is the same whiskey that I've been drinking, which actually I haven't been drinking very much of. So cheers. And what's that? Cheryl's saying there's no place like home. Loving the snow puns. But cheers. So we're going to take a little bit of this Glen glass out, and I'm going to put in 30 ml. So let me measure that out. There we go. There's our 30 ml. Then I want to add our rhubarb liqueur, and I always say this is a bit of a shame. The shame being that you can see what I'm doing, but you can't smell it. But the smell, the aroma coming off of here is just amazing. How they get these aromas into these liqueurs, I mean, so representative of the fruit. But anyway, I'm going to put the same amount in, so another 30 ml of this wonderful rhubarb liqueur. There we are, it's 30. Very nice. Really light in colour, so this whole cocktail is going to be light in colour. Things like rhubarb as a fruit, actually when you cook it up, if you think about it, is really light in colour as well. Now the next thing that I want to do is add the vanilla and to create the custard. Now I could actually just make a custard and throw it in and shake it up, but I just wanted to bring together the essence of custard in terms of the flavour and the aroma. So first of all, I'm going to put in some cream. Cream is going to go to 25 ml. So let's get 25 ml of our cream. So it's going to give it a creamy, custardy feel. Then what I have here is some vanilla ice cream, which is melted slightly under the lights here, but it's equivalent to about a scoop, so a small scoop actually. So let me drop that in. That's good. Let's put that in the sink. And then a little bit more vanilla I want here, and that is that. What's that, Cheryl? Sorry, I'm watching on the wrong side. I think I've double shared this to my cocktail page as well. Is that where you've been watching it? Ben, hello from Snowy Canada. Snowy Canada. Snow Phoenix. Glenfiddich for Snowy Canada. That sounds perfect. Cheryl says she thinks she'll like this one. Okay, so where was I up to? So I've got the vanilla ice cream. We got the cream. Now I'm going to add some Galliano liqueur, which is more vanilla. And all of this vanilla is going to create that flavour, that combination flavour with the rhubarb and custard. So I'm going to put 25 ml of this in. Like I say, very light in colour, this one. All right, here we go. Let's drop that in. That's good. So let's put all this to the side. Now what we need is to give it a really good shake. So I'm just going to take my can and get the ice in there as usual. Get all the ingredients into the can, close it up, and give it a really good shake. Here we go. And if anything, putting the Galliano in gives it more of a custardy colour. It's got that kind of yellow tinge, that little yellow hint to it. So just strain it in off the ice into this cinnamon and sugar rimmed glass. Bring that right up to just under the level of the sugar. And there we go. That is our rhubarb and custard. And quite an attractive drink, I think, actually. So often we throw a lot of colour into our cocktails with the liqueurs and the different ingredients that we put in. But when they come out rather neutral like this, I tend to feel that they look slightly more refined. So really, Cheryl's saying, what are you saying? Is this one for me? Of course this one's for you. I wonder why no one was joining or talking to you, I guess. That's a shame, isn't it? Cheryl was on the wrong page. Never mind. Andy Wilson, my wife bought me one for Christmas when it came out. Loved it so much. Bought 2 more, but now gone. Wow. So hold on a second. So Andy, you've had 3 of these, all gone. Currently would have been worth about £2,100. But nevertheless, you could win another one for just 50 pence, because that's all it costs to enter our Snow Phoenix competition. Right, let's put the cocktail over there. Let's tell you a little bit more about this amazing prize that I'm going to be giving to one of you. So as you might imagine, we've had quite a lot of interest in this, and of course, because it's a great prize. And I've got to say again, this is probably the best whiskey prize that we have given away in the 4 years that we've been running. And the idea is this, is that if these kind of competitions actually take hold, and I've tried that a number of times to do these sort of things. And maybe the whiskey has been wrong and the time's been wrong, but it looks like these competitions are actually starting to resonate with you guys. And so if they do, it means that aside from the member stuff, which we will just keep running and just keep going, I'm going to be able to do these sort of competitions on a more regular basis. And by the way, we will keep creeping that prize up. So the more of you that enter and show your interest in doing this, the more I can give you better and better prizes. And honestly, if I'm going to lay it out here now, I would love to get to a point where I could put up a Macallan 72-year-old or something like that. Not a 72-year-old, is it 70-year-old? You know the one that I'm talking about in that fabulous sort of burr walnut box. And actually whack that out there, a £50,000 whiskey prize. But the only way I can do it is if you guys keep doing what you're doing and we keep sharing it and get more people to play. Right now, we're doing this with this Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. Let me tell you a little more about how this came to be. So, this is the last 2 comments from Brian Kinsman, the master distiller. So this is after moving the whiskies so they're in a safer place now. He said, I came to realise and I came to see, let's put this back in where you can see it. There we go. There we go. That could be yours. I came to see the warehouses for myself and standing amongst the wreckage, decided to create a special Glenfiddich whiskey to mark this moment. And I love that, by the way. I love the idea that rather than looking at the collapse of all these warehouses and thinking, oh, God, what has happened here? They actually thought, here's an opportunity to do something really special, really memorable. They wanted to recognise the fantastic and difficult work also that had been carried out by the distillery team in clearing it and saving the barrels as well. So to create this whiskey, what he did was he selected the finest casks from those snow-damaged warehouses. And he married together different ages of mature Glenfiddich. Some of them very old. So it hasn't said how old, but I think any time a master distiller says very old, we know we are talking at whiskies that I guess are potentially 30 years and more as well. So some of these were Oloroso sherry casks. Others were traditional virgin oak casks as well, American oak casks rather. But each one was chosen specifically to make some kind of unique contribution to what this whiskey would become. If you're not already thinking to yourself, wow, I need that whiskey in my life, then you should be as a whiskey lover. So, aside from choosing and marrying the casks, this Glenfiddich is as they found it. In other words, it's a marriage of single malt Scotch whiskies of different ages and different finishes, with the strength brought, as I already told you, to 47.6 ABV. And in addition, of course, the addition of water from the Robbie Dew spring water, which is the distillery's own supply of water as well. It has not been chill filtered. So they called it Snow Phoenix. And this is what they used as a marketing campaign at the time. They said, we called it Snow Phoenix, a great Glenfiddich single malt, born of chance and adversity. Limited edition, one of a kind, and will only be bottled in 2010. In other words, this is it. There is no more. There's no 2011 or 12 or 13 release. It was just released in 2010. 1,000 of them went to members of the Glenfiddich Appreciation Club. I think 1,000 of them went there. And the rest of them just sort of were dotted around the world. I think some of them were in travel exclusive and stuff like that. But all gone. Everything that you can buy today is something that was sold and has been rebought to sell on again, because they're now worth buying to sell on again if you're a retailer. What's that? Replying to Simon. Oh, Simon's there. Sorry, I was watching the Mixer broadcast too. I shouldn't have, you know what? I double shared it, right? I shared it across my other page thinking that we can just sort of attract more people in, but it looks like I just confused everybody. Cheryl, me too. Bruce, this is like hearing the Christmas story on Christmas Eve. I should have grown my beard a bit longer and worn a red hoodie or something. So that is it. Here's something interesting that I want to tell you as well. Just really put the whiskey to the side. So this picture here is photographers came in and into the warehouses and started photographing the damage. And this particular picture here is the one that inspired the name. In other words, they took this photograph looking up into the sky through the roof, and they had a feeling that this little shape of the light pouring in through the hole remind them of a phoenix, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And if you look at it, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And that's where the inspiration for the name Snow Phoenix came from. So let me just pop that there and that there. Cocktails come back. Hold on a second. Let's have a little taste myself. Oh, gorgeous. I think if I was going to change that, I don't know actually. I was just thinking that I might add a little bit more rhubarb to bring the rhubarb through more, but I don't know. After it's like on the front of your palate, it's not necessarily there, but the finish is really quite rhubarby. All right. So before we go any further, I got one more drink to do for you, and then I'm going to wrap up, which is just this short broadcast, and I'm going to wrap it up by reminding you how you can enter, how you can make that Snow Phoenix your own. And by the way, if you've got any questions, just pop them in there and I'll see if I can answer them as well. Barry, Yosemite Small Pale now. Barry, what are you doing? Honestly, that is, how long have I been broadcasting for? It doesn't feel like a very long time. I think, what's this? 28 minutes, and that's your third one, I think, now. You've got some serious drinking going on there, that's for sure. All right, I decided I was going to do a shot. People have often said to me, could you do a shooter with whiskey? And I tend not to do them, but I thought, well, look, tonight's not our normal broadcast. I'm not doing a whole load of cocktails tonight, but I will do this as a second one. And I'm just going to do a really simple example of how we can do a 3-layered shot. And this is sort of a spicy one. I call this one, whereas that was a rhubarb and custard, I call this one a poke in the eye. So a bit like a shot in the eye, but a poke in the eye. And this is how you make it. So we're going to start with some syrups. And syrups generally, you tend to add to ingredients to shake them in to sweeten it and add flavour. But at the bottom end of a shooter, it's quite a nice sort of softener and rounder. So if you've shot something like a whiskey and you want to take the edges off of it, it's quite nice to have a syrup at the bottom. This one, which is a gingerbread syrup, is gorgeous. And it goes with the second flavour that I'm going to put in. So the first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to pour in what is going to be equivalent to around 15 to 20 ml of this syrup. So there we go. So if I was just going to shoot that, essentially I'd be shooting a sugar that tastes like gingerbread. But the second flavour that I want to put in is cherry. And cherry and gingerbread actually goes really nicely together. Let's just pop that over there for a second. And this is how you layer it. I don't know if you've ever tried to do this at home, but the secret to getting one ingredient on top of another is twofold. One is having a steady hand, and the other one actually is making sure that the specific gravity or density of what you are putting in is in the right order. So what I'm saying is that the heavier the liquid, the more it will sink to the bottom, and the lighter it is, the more it will rise to the top. And the way that works is this, is that although most alcohol doesn't have anything about specific gravity on the bottle, what you do have is the alcohol content. And as a general rule, the higher the alcohol, the higher the alcohol content, the higher up it will sit. Now, if the alcohol content is relatively close, if you've got something that's 35% and something that's 30%, then maybe the sugar content might sort of make that work the other way around. But if you've got like 15 or 20% between them, then they are going to sit in that order. So this one here, no alcohol, all sugar, because that's the syrup. I've now got this 25% cherry liqueur. This will sit nicely on the sugar. I am going to use the spoon to try and break the fall of it, because we don't want it pouring in too fast. And I'm just going to dribble that in so it doesn't mix. The spoon breaks the fall of the liqueur, and I'm not sure how well you can see this from where you're looking. In actual fact, I'm looking at, I think, what you're looking at. So you can see that that now just sits really nicely on the layer that's in there. Now, this is easy to do, but if you don't have a steady hand and you pour too fast, it will just mix and everything will go everywhere. All right, so that's the second ingredient. So we've got our gingerbread syrup, we've got our cherry liqueur, and now I'm going to put our whiskey on. I'm not actually going to use our Glenglassaugh. I've got this Ben Riach 10-year-old, which actually over the last month or so I've been working through quite a long way. So you might remember that we introduced this about 4 or 5 weeks ago. But yes, we sort of found our way through this bottle. And then I'm going to do the same. So this is bottled at 43% compared to the 25%. So I'm very confident it will sit on top of that. I just don't want it to mix up. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to pour gently. Let's just get that in there. There we go. Nice and steady. The spoon breaks the fall. It stops it all mixing. And I'm just going to keep going. There we go. Let's bring that up. There we are. There we go. So, I don't know if you can see from where you are, but if I bring that up to the camera, you will see that you've got our 3 distinct layers in there. So we've got a syrup at the bottom, we've got our mid-strength cherry in the middle, we've got our whiskey on the top. And the idea with these shooters is that, in a sense, you shoot it all in one, and the idea of shooting it in one is that it kind of mixes in your mouth, it mixes in your stomach, and you bring those flavours together. And the flavour of the gingerbread syrup, the cherry liqueur, and the wonderful Ben Riach 10-year-old, which is a beautifully smooth whiskey as well, combine to make this, which is a poke in the eye. Now, no, I'm not going to shoot it in one, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to pop it there for a second. Cheryl saying, it looks amazing, thank you very much. Say goodbye to your stash. Is that as in this? Oh, light it as a flaming shooter. All right, I missed the first bit there. Perfect, thank you very much, Kaz. Looking cool? Yeah, absolutely. And people are often really kind of impressed by making that work. But trust me, you know, anyone can do it. You just need to practice a little bit, get a steady hand, and everything will work fine. Definitely helps, by the way. You might have noticed, let me just get the bottle. You might have noticed that I put these pour spouts in the top. And that helps a big deal, because that helps me to control the pour. Whereas if you've just got an open bottleneck, it can really pour out and get quite messy as it goes. All right, what are you saying, Dave? That seems a good size shot. Not sure you would need many of those. Nope. That's for sure. It does actually look better, bigger than it is. It's about a 50 ml total. So it's the way the glass is designed makes it look bigger, but it's about 50 ml in total. Okay, so look, as I said, short broadcast tonight. It's really all been about the Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. So let me just remind you, there is our prize. It is running into December, but look, someone has got to win it. It is only 50 pence to enter. The link is in the description. It will take you to our game page on our website, and you can win this £700, $1,000 Glenfiddich piece of unique mixology. And when I say mixology, it's the idea of the master distiller bringing together those uniquely influenced casks to mix, to blend, to marry these whiskies to create this amazing 2010 release. So there it is, the Snow Phoenix. Get yourself in, get yourself entered, 50p a go. By the way, if I haven't already said, you can have multiple entries. So if you want to enter sort of 5 times or 10 times, you can do that as well. But it's 50p at a time. Really easy to get yourself in the draw, and somebody is going to win it. Now, look, over the next month or so that this competition runs, I'm clearly going to be mentioning this to you more, and I'll have this reference, but I'm not going to do another sort of dedicated broadcast quite like this. So I hope you enjoyed. I don't know if you've got any questions in last minute to get any questions in. What's that? Gary, what are you saying? Does it taste as good as it looks? Are you talking about the cocktail, Gary, or the whiskey? Whiskey, absolutely. By the way, if you want tasting notes on the whiskey, if you click that link in the description, as I said, it does take you to the competition page, but there's a whole load of chat on there, including tasting notes, more information. So if you're talking about the whiskey, Gary, go and check it out. If you're talking about the cocktail, yes, tastes as good as it looks. Carl is saying good luck to all. Thank you for that. That was a happy accident they had. Again, I think you're talking about the whiskey, so tell me about it. I think, you know, we call it serendipity, don't we? That happy accident, but it takes someone's creativity as well. I just wonder how many other distilleries would have seen the opportunity, A, to create something unique, but also to create something with such an inspired name as well. I suspect that many distilleries would have just tried to rescue the barrels and get them back into other warehouses, but that was really quite clever, I think. Gary's saying both. Okay, cheers. Cheryl's saying I'll let you know it's Gary. All right, okay. All right, so look, everybody, thank you very much for joining me for this special Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix broadcast. I will be back next week with our regular broadcast, cocktails, staff, competition winners, plus a couple of new ideas that we got for you as well. So that's going to be our regular. And Cheryl, I'm pretty sure Cheryl's going to join us next week as well. I don't want to sort of drop her in it and commit her to it, but I think she's going to join us as well. So you have both of us here next week. But in the meantime, look, thank you for joining us. Barry, what's that? USA, where is that? West Coast Session IPA now. Barry, you're going to be on the floor, man. Yeah, Bob saying number 4. Steve Simpson, Steve is saying, hi guys, sorry I'm late. So Steve, really sorry, we are just about to go. Hopefully you'll rewind and get this sort of picked up on play. By the way, Steve won last night's competition, so he won our weekly whiskey competition. And has chosen a Compass Box whiskey, although he didn't decide which one out of the 2. So I picked one for him, and it's on its way to him now. So congratulations on that, Steve. Anyone that missed this, go back to the beginning, play it again, find out more about this. But like I say, thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll be back next week with our regular broadcast. Until then, look after yourself, keep well. Barry, you definitely keep well, and I'll see you in about 7 days' time. Same place, same time next week. Cheers.